How about that for a big reveal? Hey, how are you? Good morning. It's Friday morning. It is, if I were doing the show this morning, yeah, it would be Low Prep Friday. A lot of people have commented that online already. It's good to see you guys this morning. Just wanted to give you a little update, keep you in the loop, keep myself in the loop, keep myself active and doing things. Um, yesterday, last evening, I posted on Facebook that I'm an embarrassingly blessed man. And, you know, I know that under the circumstances it can be hard to believe that, but after the day that I experienced yesterday, I think if you had seen everything that happened yesterday, you would understand. Aside from having probably the least flattering camera angle ever for a live in studio camera, which we got to do something about that. I can't. This can't be the camera angle forever, for crying out loud. But it probably won't be the camera angle forever now that I think about it, because um, I mentioned moments ago that I said that yesterday on social media that I'm an embarrassingly blessed man. The number of people who reached out to me yesterday, angry, upset, or just ready to fight, or just ready to commiserate. I've already had offers from people in other places. That's not what I want to do, but we'll see what happens in the overall, what's going to be best for me, for my family, et cetera, et cetera. But the reality is, and I've seen some other campaigns to get me reinstated at iHeart, and I really appreciate that. It's very nice to see. At the same time, will it do anything? Probably not. Because that's just not how big companies like that operate, unfortunately. And I know of one instance in history where it has worked out that they have actually changed on a decision like this. So I don't know. I don't know how much good it does, but it's wonderful to see the outpouring of support, and the wonderful to see the outpouring of emotion, and it just know that it is appreciated, even if I tell you it's probably not going to be effective. But again, it may not matter. I mentioned yesterday that about a year ago, I really started thinking about what is the next thing, because what is the next phase, what is the next plan, because I kind of saw where the automation was going. I'm not dumb, and I tend to look ahead of things and see ahead of curves, which you would think would benefit a big company, but apparently not. And I saw what they were doing. I saw that they were putting in pieces to basically centrally control everything. And I said, this is not going to be good for anybody local, and particularly for people in small towns. And here we are. So I started thinking about it then, as I said, and what is the next thing? And I'm still, and I got to tell you, I've had people reach out to me. I had conversations with people. I had meetings with people. I had phone calls with people. And probably the next best thing is to take it to the internet. Now, the question is, can you make money doing it on the internet? Well, as I said, I've been kind of putting pen to paper. And the reality is I came up with some figures that seem to work. I can't really go into a lot of detail. I can't, because again, I'm still not legally released from iHeart. In fact, the series of documents that they promised me have not shown up, which is a little frustrating as well, because you kind of, if this is going to happen, just go ahead and let's get it done. Of course, they've got hundreds of people around the country that they have to do this for, apparently. So I guess maybe that's the holdup, but you'd think if you're going to do all this, you might have that prepared and ready to go. But I'll just say this. I put pen to paper and I said, if this works, if I hustle, if I go out there, if I work hard, if I bust my butt, I think we could make this happen. And it could not only, keep my family at the level that they were, but it could actually find a way to get better and bigger. So, and I would be in control of it, and I would own it. And I think that's a good thing. That having been said, the biggest stumbling block obviously is getting started, and whether or not people are going to be there for you and sponsor you and be a part of it. And the number of people who reached out and said they want to be a part of this um, when it happens has been staggering, to the point that it's no longer even a matter of I'll have to build this up. It's kind of building itself. The reality is, if all the legalities were done, I could launch this thing today. I could launch it Monday, and we would be in the black. We would be operating profitably immediately. So there are certain things we've still got to work out, and one is, do we broadcast? We're going to broadcast on Facebook. We're going to broadcast on YouTube. But there is the question of the guy in his car who really wants to listen. And there are options on Facebook and YouTube where you could do that. But I know a lot of people just want an audio only app. We're working on trying to figure out a good, affordable solution for that too. But yeah, this is kind of happening. In fact, I don't want to get ahead of my skis here or anything, but we may actually be able to put together like a little bit of, see, you're listening to your car right now. Exactly. That is exactly the thing. People can do that. People, not everybody knows they can do that, but yeah, people can do that. But there's some people who just want an audio only live option. And I'm going to work on that and see what the best thing to do would be budgetarily and just for ease. Because one of the things that I do know from my years and years and years and years and years and years of doing this is that people like to do things that are easy. It's, I'm going to go back to my time at iHeart. During COVID, there were a lot of surveys that they would send out because they were trying to gauge kind of what are people thinking, what are people hearing, what are our listeners thinking, what should we be aware of that they want us to talk about, and that kind of thing. And they would send these links out, and the links were just these ridiculously convoluted links. Have your listener click this link. And some of the IT people were like, well, but you can go to our station website and you can look for this keyword and it's the same thing. And yeah, you don't have to click on a gigantic link or find a gigantic link or type in a gigantic link. You can go to the station website and search for the keyword and then do the survey. But even that is too many steps for people. So what I did here locally is I went and bought with my money. I got in trouble for that, but I did. I bought GoldenIsleSurvey.com and I just put the link to that. And then I went on the air on all the stations and put announcements. Everybody go to GoldenIsleSurvey.com. And I put it on Facebook and just had a link to GoldenIsleSurvey.com. It was quick. It was easy. Well, what happened was invariably, even though we were little tiny Brunswick market, whatever we are, we would finish in the top, usually top 3 to 5, sometimes 1, sometimes 2. We'd finish in the top numbers for the country. And it wasn't per capita. It was, we were literally straight up beating New York and that kind of thing. So, the key is give people something simple to do, something easy to do, and they'll do it. The more difficult you make it for people to do, the harder it's going to be to get them to do it. Give them something easy to remember, give them one thing to click, one thing to do, and that's that. So yeah, that having been said, it is easy to do YouTube in the car. It is easy to do Facebook in the car, but there's some people for whom it is not. And I want to make it easy for them as well. And so we're looking at different things. We even have our guy who used to call the program, who was an app builder, has offered to build us an app free, which that's music to my ears, frankly. But we'll see how things go. Again, I feel like, we're, and the reason I'm not giving a ton of details here is because, again, I'm not technically free from iHeart, but I will tell you, we're going to build something, and we have a lot of people who are interested in building something. And I'm not even the guy that's been reaching out to people. People have been reaching out to me. I mean, I have a plan. I have an idea. I have thoughts. I have a direction. But people are reaching out to me saying, what can I do? How can I be part of this? How can I participate? I was on the phone yesterday, extensive phone calls. I had 2 different meetings where, I either got advice, learned from people, talked to people who were interested in things. And in fact, I will tell you this, this background, as great as it is, and this camera angle, as terrible as it is, will probably not, when we're doing a thing, when this thing becomes realized, will probably not be where we are. We're probably going to be on location. We're probably going to be in front of people every day. Because that was the thing that really appealed to me. And somebody approached me yesterday and said, hey, what do you think about this? And I went, whoa, that's a thing. I've wanted to do that for years. When we were doing Straight Talk, I wanted to, maybe one day a week, go somewhere, someplace where people are having breakfast and just sit and do the program. Well, now, when we're going to do it our way, we're probably going to have it on location every single day. I can't tell you details again, but there's a really neat location that reached out yesterday, asked me to come down and take a look and see if, is this a thing that would work for you? And, oh yeah, it worked. It was great. It was better than I could have hoped for. So again, why I said yesterday that I'm an embarrassingly blessed man is, you see this outpouring and the love that is kind of shown towards you at some point, and you just go, good grief, do I deserve all this? It's the being taken off of the air is supposed to be the humbling part, and it wasn't. It was the part that made me angry. It was the part that woke me up and said, we're going to fight for something, and we're going to build something, and we're going to do something. The part that's been humbling has been the number of you who've decided that you can support what we do, and that you want to support what we do, and that you want to help out. But yeah, I mean, literally, and this is not, I'm not boasting on this. I'm just letting you know, because I think it's a great thing that when I'm able to do a thing, we are literally going to be able to do it profitably immediately. And again, that is thanks to the help and support of people in this community who have just reached out. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm tired. I'm tired because most of my weeks are long anyway, but this week's been really different. Obviously, there's been a lot of stress involved in this week, but also because if I put my phone down or my iPad down for a few minutes, there is, I put it down for a few minutes and there's 20 messages, and it's consistent. It's every time. I put the phone down, I had put Facebook down for a little bit just now, and I'm looking now, and guess what? There's 18 messages for me there. So, that's, again, the humbling part is supposed to have been the being knocked down. And that hasn't been the humbling part. The humbling part has been the outpouring that everybody has shown. And I just, I can't tell you how much I appreciate everything that you guys have said, everything that you guys have done. I know that I haven't responded to every single message yet. I'm trying to, but there are a lot of them, and they're coming at all channels. They're coming through text, they're coming through email, they're coming through. But just know, if I haven't gotten to it, I've probably seen it, and I'm going to try to respond to it, because it's been kind of a whirlwind. But again, the good news is, as I say, good things are happening. I'm actually really excited about the fact that people are interested in continuing to do what we do. I know that there will be attempts to squash that momentum. I'm going to resist those attempts to squash that momentum vigorously. We'll see if that does end up happening. But again, I just appreciate all the outpouring of support. I really do. I'm not ready to go on and do content and take calls and all that other stuff just yet, but no, it's out there. In fact, taking calls, I will say this for all the people that have come and given me their thoughts, their opinions, their advice, their suggestions, which has been great, and I am listening. And I'm not going to take every suggestion because there are so many of them and they're so very different. But know that I have a thought, I have kind of a vision, and when I see something that kind of squares with it, I can go, okay, you know what? Let's take a look at that. Let's examine that. But I will tell you that one of the bigger things I would like to find a better way to do is the phones. When kind of pricing everything out and looking at what it's going to cost to run an operation like this, the worst part of it all is the phones as far as the expense goes. If we're going to do multi-line phones, and I don't see our doing something without having multi-line phones. I can't envision that. So, because you guys are as much a part of this journey as I am. You guys are much as, and that you're as much of this part of this program as I am and have ever been. We build this program together. We cover this community together. And yes, Savannah guys, you are more than welcome to be a part of this whole thing. Absolutely more than welcome. Now, I will tell you this, as time goes on, I am going to continue coming on probably at 7:00 because my thought is long term, that's probably what we're going to go back to. We're going to kind of go back to, well, let's see, hang on. Somebody just said it'll be hilarious when the ratings come in and they have plummeted. Well, the problem is the ratings, I'll go ahead and tell you that. The ratings come in August 7th. The problem is I am in the ratings. We won't see the effects of me not being there in the ratings until late January, early February. Seriously. So, we won't know until, because the ratings don't even start again until September, run through December. But that's going to be another one of those nice things now, though, is doing this on the internet. I'm not a slave to the ratings. I mean, you guys, I can talk about a lot of this stuff now, but you remember when I had jury duty and I was like, this is the wrong time. It was because ratings were going on. And one of the things that I can tell you is, just from looking at our streaming numbers, is when I'm on the air, our streaming numbers are way up here. And when I am not here, our streaming numbers are way down here. And, and they're going to see that when they look at, they have seen it. I don't know if they just haven't paid attention to it. When I go on vacation, streaming numbers go straight to the toilet, and I would have to think the ratings would do the same thing. So, it's the reason that I was upset about having to take jury duty when I did was because twice, 2 years in a row, I got called right smack in the middle of ratings. So when the ratings plummet, the problem with that just is that they won't know anything till January. Though, I have a suspicion, although I've seen nothing from them at all, that they're going to try to keep me on the bench until January somehow. But that's just not a thing. That's not going to happen. It's not good for you. It's not good for me. It's not good for the community. So, not good for my mortgage, frankly. So, we're going to get through this. We're going to do it. I again, can't thank you enough. I'm going to wrap it up here in just a second because I don't want to waste your morning just with me talking about this and nothing else. I don't want to sit and talk about me all morning. Believe it or not, those of you who rage on about my ego, I don't want to sit and talk about me all morning, but I kind of have to right now. But I'm definitely not going to do it for an hour or 2 hours, 3 hours. So just know that I'm out here. I'm active. I'm going to keep checking in with you guys. I'm going to try to keep checking in with you guys around 7:00 every morning. So if you want to pay attention to it, I'll be here. And I'm going to take the weekend off because I need some time to I need to just decompress a little. Because it's been crazy. No, hang on a second. Keith says, I guess that's why they're saying you're back in January. No, that's not at all. All right, we can talk about that. So all this stuff is run by computer, and I don't have a problem with that because I love working with those computers. I love building automation sets. I love doing all that thing. I love programming those computers. But the reason that it's saying I'm back in January is because um I mentioned that I could kind of see the writing on the wall, and I saw it when they started coming up with the automated system that basically made it so that they controlled everything, and I mean everything, from one central location. And then they launched that syndicated morning show, and I went, oh, that's not good either, because yeah, they're going to go mow down some small towns. And honestly, I didn't think that part of it. Yeah, I was more worried about the automation system than the morning show until last Christmas. And the morning show launched, and I went, okay, well, I'll coexist. That morning show's its thing, and I'm my thing. And the reality was our ratings were great and our revenue was great. It's just, again, when you're talking on scale of low millions to an organization that is looking at the hundreds of billions, or at the not hundreds of billions, but the billions, you're kind of a speck, unfortunately. And and that's just reality. But so anyway, they launched that morning show, and I thought, okay, no big deal. And I always take time off at Christmas, and this year, no exception. I always take the week from Christmas to New Year's off. And I was trying to put together some alternative programming for that, and I was called one day and told, no, when you're going on vacation, you're going to put this show on. And I said, well, why is that? And they said, well, they're doing that for the whole company. They're making everybody do this in the morning. Well, I knew that wasn't true, because iHeart actually creates holiday programming for Thanksgiving, for certain holidays, for like 2 weeks around Christmas. They have holiday backup programming that they create from their news talk department. And it's not the Del Giorno show. But they told me when I went on Christmas break, I had to put on Del Giorno while I was gone. And I thought, that's odd. Well, there's a thing called a return liner. And, it's an announcement, usually a station announcement, 87 WGIG, blah, 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 whatever. And it's triggered by a closure, an electrical pulse. And since I was having to put that show on there, I didn't want people to think that I had been replaced like I have been. And so I wanted to make sure that, and I put things, hey, I'm Scott Raven, I'm coming back. So the liners, all of the return liners that were programmed into that system for that show were me announcing that I was coming back January 5th after my Christmas vacation last year. And we ran that for the time I was off. Well, this thing was so poorly thought out and so poorly executed. And I'll be honest with you, it's one of the great things that has disappointed me, because when we were acquired 12 years ago by iHeart, there were a lot of really good people in this company that were really smart, really strong, really good at what they do. And I've watched a lot of that kind of disintegrate into silos. People build their little silos. You can't do this. You can't touch this. It's mine, mine, mine. It really inhibits your ability to work. And because of that, it also protects bad people who, and I don't mean bad as in evil, but I mean people who are just not good at their jobs. So when they got rid of me, what they were supposed to do was put in the clock for the Del Giorno show and then run it instead. And of course, make sure that the liners were liners that were consistent with the message you wanted to send from the station. Instead, they didn't change out the clock. They left my show clock yesterday morning at 6:07. My intro played, and then it went dead, and then it went to commercial break, and then it went dead. And then they finally fixed it and changed it, and they didn't change the news. And the funny thing is, G-Man is so like dedicated. They haven't gotten rid of G-Man technically yet. So he was like, well, I've got to do the news. And I said, well, I don't know how you're going to do the news. You don't have access to the system. I put the news in. He said, well, I can go down there and manually put it in for GIG. And I said, yeah, you can do that. And he said, well, I'm going to go do that. So then he started calling me, asking me to help him write the news. And I was like, man, come on. But I did. I started helping him put together a newscast. And then he looked and they had removed the news from the clock anyway. I don't know if they've removed the liners yet. I don't know if they've changed that out. But again, that's because they didn't put together a checklist for how to do something well. They just took a bulldozer and did it. And that's not how you do things. And it's not, when they bought us 12 years ago, that's not how they did things. But it's interesting. And I'll close with this. There is a posting on the wall in most stations that iHeart owns. And it's in our conference room, and it is the company values, the corporate values. And one of their values is don't be afraid to fail. And I think they are very much exercising that corporate value as we speak. And that's what I'll say. And I'll leave it at that. And I'll let you guys go, and I'll let you have a wonderful Friday. If you want to reach out to me, please feel free to. If I don't answer the phone when you call, it's because I'm probably on the phone with somebody else. Because that has been my life right now. It's just literally answering calls, answering messages, taking meetings with people. And that's the great thing, is so many people love what we do. And I'll say this, I do conservative show. I got an email this morning from one of our liberal listeners who has sent a letter to iHeart protesting the change. And so, I mean, that's the thing, is, we try to welcome everybody, even though I may have a perspective that I bring to the program. But again, I appreciate everything. Seriously, you guys are fantastic. I got very emotional yesterday just talking to people. Am I still having Newt Gingrich on Monday? No. Here's the thing. I booked it through my iHeart email address and confirmed it through my iHeart email address, which I now do not have access to. And they have the studio line. I don't have any way to reach out to them. I don't have any way to contact them. But just know, Monday I was supposed to have Newt Gingrich on at 9:08, and that's not, or 9:07. It's not going to happen now because clearly there's nothing there. But again, I don't want to sound like a broken record, and I think I'm already there. But I cannot tell you how much I appreciate everything that you guys are doing and have done. But know this: I'm here. I'm going to be here. We're going to make something work. It's going to be successful, and it may dwarf what we were doing before. So I'm excited. Just know that. The biggest thing that I have right now is excited. When do I get discouraged? I get discouraged when I look up at a mountain and say, gosh, I already climbed that. Do I have to do it again? And I climbed it when I was a lot younger. Do I have to climb it again? And the reality is, yeah, I do. So I'm going to. And that's that. Thank you, guys. I'm going to let you go now. Have a great weekend. I will talk to you again Monday morning, and we'll and I may have more answers. I may have more things I can say. And by the way, this guy, just know this is one of your guys. I was at a lunch yesterday where people were asking about Black Frank. That's Black Frank. And he is one of the guys that okay, I'm not ready to go yet. Sorry. Okay, because I got to tell this. When the show first got put on in Savannah, they let Bill Edwards go. And I couldn't talk about it on the air. That was the frustrating thing about it. People wanted to know about it, and people wanted details, and I couldn't talk about it. Now I can talk about it. They let Bill Edwards go. I found out I was sitting in Daddy Kate's. I was supposed to have lunch with a friend, and the friend canceled out on me, and I was like, well, I'm still here. I'll just have a sandwich. And it was a great sandwich, by the way. And I was sitting at Daddy Kate's, and I got a phone call from my boss, by the way, who was also let go this week, my boss in Savannah. And he said, we just let Bill Edwards go. Would you be interested in putting Straight Talk on in Savannah? And, on the one hand, Bill is a friend and Bill is a wonderful man. And Bill is a guy that when I was a young man, I watched on TV. I watched JCL. I've got old videotapes of ball games and stuff where he's on during halftime at JCL studios. And, Bill's a guy I look up to a lot. And I didn't want to step all over that. But also at the same time, I knew that if it wasn't me going on there, they were just going to put something else on there. They were just going to put something else, syndicated that wasn't going to serve anybody in any way locally. Basically, what they're doing now is what they would have done if I'd said no. So, it was an opportunity, and it wasn't the most comfortable opportunity, but I did it. So they put us on in Savannah, and immediately the backlash started because Bill had been there for so long. And, I couldn't tell people, you either get this, because people kept saying, you're not even local. And it's like, I'm just down the road. What are you talking about? Not local. If I'd been in Massachusetts or LA or something, sure. Okay, fine. I'm not local, but Brunswick to Savannah, that's local. Sorry. But I got a lot of that. I got a lot of complaints and people were just, I got a lot of just hostility, and it was hostility because I wasn't Bill. But they didn't seem to understand, and I couldn't explain it to them because I wasn't allowed really to. I couldn't explain to them that it was me or something that was absolutely national. And that was kind of it. So, I was their best option at that point, and that was that. And, so I had to kind of win over people in Savannah, and over time, I did win over a lot of Savannah, but Holy Ghost Trucker there was one of the first to really adopt me and say, yeah, this guy's okay. Because there were a lot of people in Savannah that were, and since then we've had Jeannie Seaver and Marie Beebe and Corey and just so many people in Savannah that have wound up embracing what we do. And Brian, I've gotten to know so many people in that Savannah audience that are just wonderful people and really get what we do here. But it took time, and and again, there was a frustration of not being able to kind of explain the deal. And also, when you're the guy that comes after somebody like Bill who's been there for so long, you're going to be looked at as the interloper. And it wasn't my fault. It's Del Giorno. He's on GIG right now. It's not his fault. They're going to do what they do regardless of who it is that's behind the mic for the other thing that they want to put on. That's just reality. So anyway, all of that having been said, I'm going to wrap it up now for real. I do have people reaching out, and I do have loose offers, nothing solid. I have some very solid things on doing this on my own, though. That's the funny thing. So, do you continue on radio, or do you just continue doing it this way and own it? And I got to be honest with you, after all this time and all this investment, I think owning it's a good thing. I'm very interested in owning it. And so we'll see what happens from there. But guys, thanks again. Have a great weekend. Hang on a second. When you took over from Lauren, same thing. It took a while. You know what's interesting about when I took over from Lauren? There were some people, yes. But the ratings immediately were there. And that was great. So, yeah. But it was a very similar thing because Lauren had been there for 16 years. It's funny because I was thinking the other day, I was 14 years. And I was thinking I was actually really close to having been doing the show as long as Lauren had. And then I didn't get that chance. But you know what? It's okay. Because I can actually bring you something else, something better. And there may be some video component. There's no TV here. And maybe it is that we can bring a video component that is, a good substitute for not having any TV here. Again, that's the beauty of owning it and having kind of an open canvas is I know I can do the show and I know I can be profitable with the show, but maybe we can do more than that. Maybe we can expand it. Maybe we can make this bigger, longer, broader. We'll see. Anyway, I've stayed on way more than I planned to. I will talk to you guys Monday morning. I'm going to leave you alone for the weekend. Have a great day today. It's going to rain. I'm sorry about that. I didn't do it though. It's not my fault. And we're going to talk Monday. Okay. See you then. Stay strong and know that any ability to reach out, please feel free if you want to do so. Let's see. We all need to share Scott's link to this channel. Let folks know to be here at 7 Monday. Yeah. If you want to hit it on YouTube, that it's really easy. It's youtube.com/Scott Rifen. And if you do youtube.com/Scott Rifen, you're going to find the YouTube channel. It'll be very easy. Anyway, I got to get out of here. I'm sorry. I've been way, way, way longer than I wanted to. I probably said more than I should. So I'll see you guys. Take care. And yeah, I'll see you at 7:00 Monday morning. Oh, and I'm sorry. Last thing. Hang on. Sorry. Last thing. I've got to find the I'm new to this, so I've got to find the if you are listening to or watching this on YouTube. Hang on, I got to get the hang of this. This is all brand new. But yes, we do want you to like it and subscribe. I have to find there's the comments. Okay. And then we'll remove Menorcan Mullet's comment, who gave me a lot of good advice yesterday. Like, subscribe. Very important. Very, very important. Like, subscribe. Click subscribed. Click like. All right. Now, I'll see you guys Monday. Now I'm really done. For real. See you.